up, y'all? It's me, Nate Almighty, back with another power video. This video is for all things Tariq spinoffs, going into the next 2 to 5 years of everything to do with power, because as they say, power never ends. And I believe that everyone likes the idea of power never ending, but me, as more of a critical person and someone who is a TV show connoisseur, someone who is a movie connoisseur, and I like good plot, good details, good stories, right? Good arc and character development. I'm going to present why Tariq needs to get shot in new spinoff in order to prevent what I'm going to call power fatigue now. I'm going to explain where I get the definition of power fatigue from. I'm going to explain why it's very important that Tariq gets shot, and not just shot like on some minor stuff, but shot seriously, where he's going to be within an inch of his life before being saved, right? While we need a whole character arc where Tariq is healing and all things to do with that in order to prevent power fatigue and in order to prevent power from becoming stale, because I can see it coming. All that and more in today's video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. This video is going to be another banger. Without further ado, let's get to it. So, first, people might be asking, what is power fatigue and where it came from? This right here is a term that I invented, and I do believe that if these series within power do not go the way I say it should go, that power fatigue will become a thing. Now, how I came up with this term? I came up with this term because it's also a similar term that came with the whole super movie genre, with all the superhero movies that DC been giving us over the past 10 years plus, and also a Marvel, where over the past 5 years or so, all of the superhero movies, right, they have these big 2, 3, sometimes 400, right, $1 million budgets like The Flash, where they spend all this money on these movies, but these movies have all flopped. None of them have made $1 billion, right, in the box office. And it's because they have an agenda in them, whether you feel like it might be too much gay stuff, or it's basically because they're not developing the characters enough to where we care about them in order to keep watching these movies. I said that there will be power fatigue because I can already see that they're starting to maybe run out of fresh ideas. There's only so many times they can show us the parent kills the kid, or more importantly, the kid kills the father. What we have not yet seen, and what they maybe not want to show us, is a new idea such as the kid killing the mom, right? The mothers have a whole lot of plot armor in these power shows. There are a whole lot of ideas that are being reinvented instead of us just seeing new ideas and new things about characters, right? Which is why I also propose that it's a genius idea if they show us the slow character progression of Unique actually becoming Breeze, right? If that's in the cards. And it will become power fatigue when we get into the new spinoff, and it's the same old rigmarole, which is Tariq or Tommy, they have an issue. They meet a new ally. They kill their opposition, and they make more money. And then they end up having beef with their plug again and again and again and again. It's the same common trope, the same as with the father-son killings and all that other stuff. The Power Writers have not deviated too much from the same things that they have been doing since OG Power. And none of these things were the most interesting than they were in OG Power, even though symbolically they've still kept asses in the seats watching this content. But it will happen if Tariq does not get shot and they show us something different. And I will go into detail. But the next thing is this. Why power fatigue is almost inevitable. We've been seeing almost the same exact thing for years now, and these shows will eventually become more and more obnoxious, more and more predictable, right? Especially with people like us on the internet, right? Constantly trying to predict and theorize on what's going to happen next. More and more, you will see people like me, Getting It How I Live, Movie Bot, right? Ugly Ass Nigga TV. We will begin to get things correct and predict things correct more and more and more. And you better believe power execs and the people who are behind these companies, they have people watching online to see what's going on, right? But the next thing is this, right? And as we get into why Tariq should be shot and why it needs to be a life-threatening shooting, right? How severe should Tariq's injury be? Because he should have been shot, right? Because think about it. When I say Tariq has been shot, y'all gotta understand, right? I swore he was gonna get shot when I seen the preview with last season, where it seemed like he might have got shot and then it turned out to be him shooting at Drew in the warehouse. I swore he was at least gonna get grazed on his arm. Tariq has never, ever, ever been shot, been stabbed, anything. And because he should have been shot, Tariq has to literally almost die and have been down to within an inch of his life for the shooting to be impactful. They took so long for him to get shot, and him being shot is inevitable, that if he just gets grazed in the leg, or if he just gets grazed in the arm, it's not going to mean anything, right? Because he's going to be healed and back to doing his own thing and being the same old Tariq within 2 or 3 episodes, right? Because I do believe he will be shot in season 1 of whatever spinoff he's in. We should expect him to be shot in a very vulnerable place, right? I'm predicting, and also I'm saying he better be shot in a place like his stomach or his neck or his back. And when you say back, this is when we creep up into, Saint from Snowfall and how he got shot in his back. But if they copied the whole LSD trip thing, then I don't think they're above doing a similar Tariq got shot in the back type of situation, right? And when I say severely, I mean he's shot in his back and he has to rehab himself. He's in a wheelchair for the whole next season, right? Because there's so much character development that can come from that, right? And that's why it's very important that Tariq suffers a more serious injury than an arm shot or a leg shot, regular flesh wound, okay? Tariq is extremely arrogant. And now, being that he's in a real position of power higher than he's ever been, he believes that he is invincible based on the way season 4 ended off Ghost. Y'all gotta understand the arrogance during that phone call in the post-credit scene. This is somebody who really believes he cannot be touched. Cannot be touched. He really believes this, right? That feeling of Tariq being almost killed, somebody actually getting that drop on him and him really almost dying, right? Him really seeing the light before he's revived, right? That feeling will make him more vulnerable than he will understand. The best thing to happen would be for Tariq to be shot at the end of the first season. Then he could spend the entire second season of the spinoff rehabbing his injury and dealing with the PTSD of the shooting, right? Maybe the shooting leaves him with some kind of limp or some real severe bullet wounds that we will always be able to see for the rest of his career, right, in the drug game, right? He'll have all these mental issues that he has to work himself through. We would see a side of Tariq we have never seen before, right? And Michael Rainey Jr. will really get a chance to display his dramatic acting skills, right? He will have to deal with running a drug empire while healing himself both mentally and physically, right? he will be forced to rely on other people who he has taken for granted and others who he never believed will be down for him this much in his time of need. And when we're speaking of these people, let's get into further detail with that, right? We will probably see both Diana and Tasha form a bond while they take turns caring for Tariq at home. And when you add in the fact that Diana has no idea that Tasha shot Monet, right? And Tariq never told Diana about this. This breeds a lot of potential for potential drama in the future, with maybe even Diana choosing to take Tasha's life just because, right? And at the same time, we get a chance to see Brayden step it up, right? On a level that he has never had before, as he becomes the de facto leader in Tariq's place and absence on the front line, as Tariq will not be able to count on anybody more than him, right? Because Tommy is going to be somewhere else. Because I predict that they're going to start moving things state to state, and they're going to be like on some BMF type stuff where Tariq and his main organization is going to be somewhere, and Tommy and his main organization and his main people are going to be somewhere else as well, right? And they're gonna have so much work, so much product, so many people to rule that it's gonna be impossible for them to be in the same state together, right? Right? And with Tariq being hurt and having to sit down during the whole season, it will do more for his character in this one season than the entire series run of Book 2 Ghost, as I feel like Tariq didn't have that much character development in Book 2 Ghost. The plot was mostly carrying him. Knowing that he almost lost his life for real will change him in more ways than one. We will get to see Tommy also go on a rampage against everyone connected to the shooter of Tariq. And I will predict, and at the same time, if not a prediction, I'm going to let you guys know who will be the perfect person to shoot Tariq and almost kill him, right? But this will strengthen their bond in the process, and I'm talking about Tariq and Tommy. And we can see all of the enemies of Tariq be on the rise in power while Brayden and everyone else is trying to do damage control, right? Even to the point where people will just say Tariq is not around, because you do not want people to know that your boss is seriously hurt, because that breeds a breeding ground for people to come and try to do even more damage than they would do, right? And now, let's talk about the best person who should be the one to shoot and almost kill Tariq. Effie Morales. Why? Because we all know the least about her. This makes her particularly dangerous to Tariq. And after giving her a job again at the end of season 4, he will assume because he is feeding her that she will not betray him again. But he is wrong. Effie Morales is someone who can get close enough to Tariq in an intimate setting, and it doesn't have to be romantically, where she can be able to get close enough to attempt a kill shot. I believe the Power producers plan on making Effie Tariq's biggest enemy he has ever had, and a very formidable enemy that he partly created. I believe these are two people who still love each other, but they never had a real chance because of the game. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Tariq really needs to be shot? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's God gifted. That's touched by an angel. That's on the dome, nigga.